Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live video podcast. It's your weekly dose of coffee, dogs, and curiosities, your alternative CDC. I'm your host, Chris Brandi, the Stunt Dog Guy, and today we're going to drink a little coffee while we watch some cool tricks with Little Man, who happens to be Kara's 6-pound Chihuahua mix. You guys are going to be blown away. And then we're going to show you how to teach your dog to what Kara likes to call flip between the legs. We call it the back up towards me in our book. And then we're going to discuss today's curiosity, which is what's it take for a dog to become a stunt dog? So thanks for watching, everyone. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We're on YouTube and on the internet under Stunt Dog Show Productions, stuntdogshow.com. You can also go on Facebook, stay informed about our future podcasts, live shows, travel adventures, training tips, and much more. Also, please share this podcast on your social media and help us grow it and help us grow this viewership. Of course, if you're watching right now, leave me a comment and let me know you're here, what you're up to today, and where you're watching from. Now, as you all know, I love collecting coffee mugs, and today I am featuring my San Francisco 49ers cup because, yes, I'm a big 49er fan. In fact, I'm a sports fan. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time to watch all the sports out there, but I do enjoy watching. And the one sport I do follow is football because Sue and I are hooked on fantasy football. Been playing it for the last few years with our brother-in-law. Now, guys, let's head to Indianapolis and let's have Brian and Kara join us, our co-hosts. What's up, guys?
Hello.
Hey, Chris, how are you, buddy?
Doing good. How about yourself today? How's the weather out there in good old Indianapolis?
We had a pretty wicked thunderstorm come through last night, but it's warm and it's a little bit muggy today. But I wanted to say I think that Suhei is actually a Jimmy Garoppolo fan.
Yeah, of course.
We've had a lot of talks about that.
Yes,
how many halftime shows have you done for the 49ers?
Oh, gosh, over the years. Well, the first couple years when I first started doing this, I was at every single home game. I did sidelines entertainment at every home game, and I did at least one halftime show and one pregame show. So probably over the years, I've been out at the Niners few dozen times over the years. Yeah, and every year it seems like we either every year, every other year, we'll do a halftime show for them. Sometimes it just doesn't work in our schedule and our routing, but it's always a treat to perform for my home team.
Now, you were this close to getting a halftime show for one of the playoff games this year, right?
I was. Unfortunately, I wasn't available and didn't happen, but man, that would have been so awesome. And then the dates that I did have available, they had something else going on. And then there was an incident where it almost actually happened. Like they called me up like a week before and they were like, "Hey, our halftime show canceled. Are you available?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm available." And then a couple days passed and they got it all worked out. And unfortunately, we didn't get that opportunity, but we had a couple opportunities that just both times fell through. So maybe next season. Maybe next season.
I was jealous when you said you were going to get that halftime show because that was a big year for the 49ers last year. And I had George Kittle on my fantasy football team, so I was hoping for big things too.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, Kittle is awesome, man. I had him on my team as well. So anyway, enough about fantasy football. We're here to talk about some dogs while we drink our coffee. I hope you guys got your coffee today. I don't know if you're drinking iced coffee or just some caffeine, but I've been drinking a lot of iced coffee because it's been so hot. It's actually 105 here today. I'm actually going to go jump in the pool. My brother-in-law and his family, they're here, and we're going to go swimming here in a minute. But, yeah, it's been scorching. It's supposed to be 105 today.
Oh, contain your excitement.
Yeah. Maybe in the pool. All right, so you have Little Man with you today, guys. Let's talk about Little Man. And I know we've talked about him a little bit before, but we're featuring him today. Tell me about this little guy. Where did you find him? How long have you had him?
So Little Man is a Chihuahua mix. He's 6 pounds, and we adopted him from the Houston SPCA when he was like 1 pound and a few ounces. But yeah, we rescued him, and he's a cool little dude, 6 pounds, and he knows a few little dog tricks that he'll show off today. But what's cool about Little Man, he's very different than your normal Chihuahua. He's actually really lovable. He loves people, loves meeting his fans. But like a normal Chihuahua, he loves to bark, and he has bad breath. But otherwise, he's a really cool dude. And he's actually 4 now. He just turned 4, early this year.
Hi, buddy.
Aw, well, he is Still adorable, and doesn't look like a day over 6 months. Definitely. He's cute, man. I really like him. I love it. I love the reaction the audience gives when he comes out on the stage or out there on the field. I mean, people they're not expecting a dog that small. And especially the way you build it up, it's great, man. People gotta love it. I don't know if anyone's watching from Texas or the Indianapolis Zoo that has seen Little Man perform live at any of the events that they've been to the last couple of years, but I'm sure you can attest how entertaining he is and what a crowd pleaser that little guy is.
Yeah, he really is.
Yes, he's hands down our most requested dog at meet and greet for sure.
Oh yeah, he's freaking awesome, man. What's his favorite thing to do?
He'll do anything for treats. He is so food motivated. If I ask him to do pretty much anything for food, he will. He doesn't like to swim. That's really about the only thing he doesn't like to do. He also loves to boss the other dogs around. I mean, he rules the roost, and everyone respects him. It's pretty comical.
And that's probably his big move right there. Are we going to see that move live today? Are you going to do that live for us?
Yes, we're gonna attempt it today. We'll do his final move will be his handstand. Okay,
because with all the things in Photoshop and everything these day and age, people might think that was just Photoshopped, So we're going to prove to them that it is not. That is a legitimate photo. Look at that face. Was that when he was a puppy? He looks a little. Just his eyes. He looks younger.
This was probably about a year ago.
Really? Gosh, he's always gonna look like a puppy then. He's adorable.
He's getting a little gray.
Yeah.
There were a couple puppy photos in there. I don't have a whole bunch. I lost a bunch of them when we had the fire, of course, but I just have a few of them. He looks exactly the same, just a little more gray.
Little man.
Awesome. We just got a comment from Joe Nunez. Can you train an old dog to do tricks? Yes, absolutely you can. We actually did a whole podcast. If you look back, if you go back to our podcast list, the playlist is actually on our YouTube channel. So you can watch all our past podcasts. Go to Stunt Dog Show Productions, and you can watch that podcast. We talked in depth about that and show you and prove to you that you can. So yeah, and somebody else said Mariko says love the determination in his eyes. Yeah, so love it, guys. Yeah, he is a beautiful dog. So we can't wait to see what he can do today. What are we going to see him pull off? You want to get into that now? We'll see that live performance.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll get set up here. I don't know if there's any other photos, but yeah, let me get set up with Little Man, grab his favorite treats, and we'll get going.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. Yeah, we've been talking about little dogs and can they run with the big dogs. We've had that podcast, and Little Man was certainly featured during that podcast, as well as my little guy. Leo, what are you doing, man? Come here, Leo. He was at the door because he knows that we got food coming, because I got my family here today. They're hanging out, and we ordered some Mexican food, so we got some food coming in there. Look at those perky ears. He's ready. He's like, Mexican food? Oh, I love Mexican food. Yes, tacos. Look at those ears.
Yes, tacos.
You like tacos? Oh yeah, he loves tacos. All right, Kara's getting set up, guys. And yes, Russell, Little Man is the man. What's going on, Russell? Good to see you today, buddy. Good to see you. I saw you highlighted on America's Got Talent. Curious how you did, buddy. We've been trying to keep our eyes open for you. All right, Kara, let's see what you got here.
Video around here.
Little dogs do rock stuff. They do. We got our pack filled with a few little dogs. Got like 3 little dogs. Uh-oh. Did we lose? Oh, we lost you for a second. Okay, you're back.
Flip the camera around, but it's not working. So.
And I'm gonna give you the big screen here too. I'm gonna make you full screen so everybody can really watch and can see Little Man tricks here.
Little Man, let's see.
Okay, you ready, bud?
All right, we're gonna get warmed up here. Little Man, right here. Ready? Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah. Gotta get him a little warmed up.
There you go. You got a little more to the left, Ryan. A little more to the left, a little bit down. There you go.
Little Man, we're gonna see you. Little Man, ready? Oh, swoop. Yeah.
There you go. Look at him go. Look at those hoops. Man, he's fast.
Yeah, not bad. Right here. Little Man.
Whoa.
So can you train a little dog? You sure can. Look at this little guy. He's motivated. And that's really what it takes. You know, anytime you train a dog, you got to find out what motivates them. If you're free feeding your dog and you can't get them motivated on toys, you might have a hard time getting them motivated on treats. So you might consider feeding them at scheduled times and building that motivation slowly over time with their favorite treats or food.
And something I know that you say, and Kara says it in the show, it doesn't matter the age, the breed, or the size. You can pretty much teach any dog to be an amazing little trickster.
Yeah, good job, buddy. Good job. All right, now we're going to see if he can do his handstand. So Brian will give a little bit more space.
Yep.
He's a little tired. Like, way more. Place.
All right, here
No
goes the big
Photoshop.
handstand, guys. Get in close, Brian. Get in close if you can. There it. Oh, get it, little man. Get it, little man. Get it. Yeah, there it is.
Still hold.
Nailed
All
it.
right.
Here he is. He says, I'm hot. I got burned out. I'm a little guy.
Yeah.
It's really easy to wear him out because he's, so little. Okay, little man.
He's
Watch
so
him
cute,
around.
though.
He's cute. Come in. Get it.
And he has his happy hop. Yeah.
He's pretty cute. All right, buddy, you're all done.
Anybody else have any little dogs at home that have that kind of energy? That was awesome.
Yeah.
Great job, Kara.
Excellent. Thank you for the round of applause, Chris.
Hey, absolutely. Is it easier to train smaller dogs? Charlotte McElroy's asking. I don't know. It depends on their motivation. And it depends on their motivation, really. I say. I mean, the little dogs can be a little challenging sometimes, just because they don't have that prey drive like a herding breed dog would, or some of the working breeds or sport breeds. But they can certainly be trained. Just depends on what you use to motivate them. What would you say to that, Sarah?
Train the little dogs.
Yeah, I don't know that little dogs are easier to train. I almost would say that they're a little more difficult sometimes, just because they're made for a different reason and they like being lap dogs versus like your border collies that are ready to play and work all day long. But they can be trained. Just gotta find their motivation.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. So we have a training video to show today. Obviously, we love encouraging you guys at home to do more with your dogs. I've been saying that since 1999 in my live shows. Everywhere we go, we want to inspire people to train their dogs positively and teach them something new. It really helps prevent those unwanted behavior problems and helps increase the bond that you have with your dog. So today, Kara put together a wonderful video that shows you how to get your dog to back up towards you and through your legs. I actually go over this. Me and my co-author and Suhei go over this in our book, The Big Book of Tricks for the Best Dog Ever, which you can order a signed copy from us at stuntdogshow.com. It goes over 118 tricks and stunts, and Back Up Towards Me is in it on page 224, 225 of our book. And Kara actually put together a really cool video demonstrating how to train it. So why don't we bring that up right now and show everybody how easy it can be. All right, check it out. Actually, it does take some patience.
Between your legs in 60 seconds or less. Have your dog sitting in front of you and lure your dog 180 degrees. This way your dog's face will be looking away from you and their rear will be facing towards you. Do your best to line up your dog's rear in between your legs. Now, once your dog is comfortable doing this 180 degrees, you'll then push them back and reward them behind you. Practice this a few times, rewarding both the 180 flip and pushing them in reverse. Soon enough, you'll wean away your first reward and only reward them after they flip between your legs, go in reverse, and you'll reward behind you. This trick is fun because you can do it in two ways, where the dog is facing you and ends up behind you, or alternately, your dog will be facing you, you'll pivot on a foot so that you will also meet them on the other side so that you will be facing each other at the end of the behavior. Practice this at home, and before you know it, your dog will be flipping right between your legs.
Awesome. Yes, absolutely. That was great, Kara. And that's how it's done. You make it look so easy, Kara. Some dogs pick up on that pretty quickly. Other dogs, needs a little foundation work first. Well, what kind of foundation work would you say it would be helpful for a dog to know, Kara, before training that trick? Oh, sorry. I accidentally muted you guys during the video. I apologize. You can answer now.
Yeah. Rear end awareness is super important for that behavior. And we've done, in your book, they explain several different tricks that help with rear end awareness, and we've done a few on our podcast. But Rear end awareness is super helpful. That way your dog is comfortable moving its rear end in certain directions. Dogs can be kind of clumsy in the beginning. So rear end awareness and also just being comfortable luring for food. I would say those two are very important for
Sure.
any of the tricks that we go through.
Yeah, definitely getting them comfortable going through your legs, forward first and just through it. And they'll start picking it up, just using those techniques and step by step, being repetitious and being consistent with your dog. Yeah, absolutely. So I say let's get to our curiosity today. So I'm itching to get out and go swimming today. We're going swimming out in the pool today, so it's gonna be fun.
Understand.
And my lunch is on its way today too. We got late lunch, so I'm excited about having some lunch. But today's curiosity is, what's it take for a dog to become a stunt dog? Stunt dog. Yeah, right here. Oh, it's opposite. Stunt dog. Right there. What's it take? What's it take for a dog to become a stunt dog? I'm gonna let you guys answer in the channel. What do you think it might take for a dog to become a stunt dog? And what do we mean by that? I'll let you guys kick it off. Brian, Kara?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people are surprised that, a lot of dogs can do this type of, tricks and skills and stunts with even just their pet dog at home. If it's motivated, you just got to find the right thing for them. The first thing I really look for is temperament, and the dog is comfortable in new environments. The dog is not afraid of people or, loud sounds. Or lights, things like that. So if you have a dog that is really comfortable in new environments, then that's a great first step to having a dog that can perform.
Yeah, I agree. Focus is important. I always say I look for dogs that have tunnel vision. And what I mean by that is I look for dogs that they're just so affixed on that toy, that treat, or just your hand, just your eyes, making eye contact with you. They're just focused with that tunnel vision, and they don't care about what's going on around them. You know what I mean? I have some dogs that have a really strong tunnel vision and focus. Then I have other dogs that, their tunnel vision is more like this, and little things can distract them. So I'd say that's one of the number one things you need. You need a dog, obviously, that's motivated. So that's kind of a given, and of course, we never force the dogs to do anything we don't want them to do. We put them in things that they enjoy in the show, that they're just playing and having fun. That's really what it's about. Just them having fun and just enjoying life.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people also think that their dog, needs to have this crazy, natural athletic ability and must chase frisbees and do backflips. But, look at Little Man. He does a lot of cool tricks, and he doesn't even like to play with toys, but he does have that motivation for treats. So you don't have to have a border collie or a cattle dog, to do these fun tricks, stunts, and even do shows. You really just need a dog that, like you said, kind of has that tunnel vision, loves to work for you for their motivation, whether it be food or toy or whatever it might be. And you can go really far with a dog that just likes to, work for treats.
And something that Kara talks about here and I talk about a lot is, when you're looking for the dog, don't just pick a dog because it's pretty. Several of the dogs that we have by no means were the belle of the ball.
Right.
Pikachu is a prime example. But she had the motivation and the drive, and that's what she was looking for in adopting, to make sure that they're going to enjoy this lifestyle and not just a showy, flashy dog.
Right. Oh, I agree. When I go into a shelter or a pound, I'm looking for dogs that are, they love to jump, they love to play, they have some kind of a drive, maybe tug drive. They'll tug on a, rope toy or a frisbee. If they'll go after a frisbee, man, sold. You know what I mean? It's like I look. Because I like to motivate my dogs a lot with toys. And most of the stuff that I do in my show, sport-related stuff, specifically, I use toys to motivate. I don't use treats. I don't have them do a trick, get a treat, then throw a frisbee. If it's a frisbee routine, they're just playing frisbee. They're having fun, and then they're doing their tricks and just having a good time. So we look for dogs that have that toy motivation. That's really what I look for. A tunnel vision, toy motivation, and focus. High level of energy is good. Sometimes these are the dogs that people don't want. Wouldn't you guys agree? Like the dogs that have the behavior problems, that are chewing things up, digging, chewing.
Yes, I would say if I'm looking for like a frisbee dog and not just like a trick dog, absolutely, I look for the one that nobody wants. It's usually the dog that is tearing up someone's house, is barking, and is just wild. And a lot of people will explain them as hyper and crazy. Absolutely, those are the dogs that I gravitate towards, because that means that those dogs are usually unchanneled. they're looking for something to do to burn that energy, and they just need the right guidance to know what to do. And those are really, I have several of those dogs. They're one of my favorites, to be honest, because I like to say they can keep up with me. You know, they'll play with me all day long. They'll never really stop, and they just love to do these tricks and stunts for their toys.
Sure.
Several of our dogs came from situations like what she was saying, where the dogs were just too much for the owner to handle, and they were surrendered, or we private adopted, or reached out to us. I mean, we get asked a lot about that. They're like, we've got this dog, we can't take care of it, we just don't know what to do, how to motivate it, whatever it might be. And we've come into several dogs that have come to live with us that have become really amazing performers. It was just like what Kara was saying, she's so good at it, and I know you're really good at it too, is finding that channel to get them to do what they like to do. And it's always fun for them. They're not just being forced to do something they don't want to do.
Sure.
That's a great question about stage fright, though.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on that, Mariko. That's a wonderful question. And I've had situations where I've had dogs peace out, you know, like, this is too much. You know what I mean? It's like they get out on the field and they're like, whoa, where'd all these people come from? What is this? You know, and they're like, I'm out, backstage, back to their crate, or back wherever, you know, they're wherever they feel safe, you know, they're bouncing out. So the key is not to force the dog in a big situation like that. Start them off in small situations, small crowds, and then work your way up to those bigger crowds. But yeah, I've had situations where I've had dogs get nervous. I actually have a dog right now that actually gets nervous a lot, and we've done a lot to overcome that being stage fright. And that's Shadow. She's sitting on my chair right over here. It's a Storm Shadow. And Shadow is actually, she's been with me for a while now. She comes from a rescue called A Place to Bark out in Tennessee. I've adopted 3 dogs with that wonderful rescue. And she's always been very just nervous. I call her my nervous Nelly. And she gets stage fright. She's the best Frisbee dog in the backyard, but you put her in front of an audience and she's nervous about her back vaults, about any certain moves will make it's like she's worried about the audience, like, behind her back. You know what I mean? Like, are they going to touch me? Am I getting too close to the fence? And it took a while to build her confidence to be able to race, to do our stunt dog race in the show, for example. I don't know about you guys. Have you guys had any dogs that get stage fright?
Yes. I mean, I would say, honestly, whenever we have young dogs and puppies, whenever they first start getting in front of crowds, it's very common that they are like, wow, like, what are all these people doing? You know, I can do this with no crowd, and all of a sudden, boom, now there's people. It's just something you got to build them up to. I mean, it's just like humans, you know. Humans get stage fright, or, you know, all the time, going out in front of people and crowds. And so, it's, you know, it just takes time to show them.
Yeah, realize that they're animals at the end of the day, right? I mean, they're animals. They're not going to be, they don't understand like we understand. I mean, when it comes to, you know, they're just wanting to play and have fun. And if something's scaring them and making them nervous, they're not going to want to do that. So don't try to force them. You know what I mean? So know your dog's limitations. You know,
it's something that I want to hit on, Chris, and it's something that probably a lot of people don't think about or realize. And it's more, not so much with our fair shows, but more so with the stage shows, the moving lights and the changing speakers and the lights that are going down. Those can really affect the way the dog, when we were doing Carowinds, that was also a little bit of a learning curve because we've been performing so much outside. So the dogs had to get reacclimated to being used to these large speakers right next to them and the crowd being so ridiculously close to them sometimes, or even just the front of the stage or whatever it might be. There's so many factors. That's why it's important, and I think you know that too, that we take that time, that we get to an event or something early so that we can show the dogs all of these things and try to replicate a real live show situation for the dogs before they go on. Because the last thing you want is the dog to freeze. Once
absolutely. Well, you know, because you were... Go ahead, Karen.
Something to note is that, you know, later on, some of the dogs, and I'm sure you have some, they actually get more amped up because of the people.
They do.
I have a dog named Luna, and when she trains, she's just like, do-do-do, you know, but as soon as the crowd goes out there and she hears them, she gets so much more amped up, and she runs faster. And so I think at the end of the day, you know, the dogs learn that the crowd's actually cheering for them, and they do play and have more fun.
Well, it's because every time we reward them with a Frisbee or a treat or a toy, at that moment, typically the audience is, woo, yeah, woo. And then they start feeding off that. When they hear that, they're like, I just did what I was supposed to do. It's kind of like using the word yes or a clicker. With the click of the clicker, it's the crowd giving them the response. However, there's been times it's worked against me. When one of my little dogs came out on the field and decided to take a poop in the middle of the field, and everyone responded. And then my little guy kept going back out there and taking a poop on the field every so often because he'd get a reaction. At least I felt like he was doing it to get a reaction. It was like he was getting off on it, you know?
I think we were blessed to be at that event at the State Fair of Texas. When
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
yeah.
Your response to it was great. Like, give the man some privacy.
Yeah, I get in front of him. Give him a little privacy, all right?
What you said, I've had it work in my advantage too when I'm high jumping with Fox. You know, I'll get the crowd going, Fox, Fox, Fox.
Yeah.
And the first couple times it went great, and he jumped really high, and I could tell he was amped up. And then something switched, and then it freaked him out. And so I stopped doing that. But like you said, they totally are feeding off of that environment or those things like that. It's pretty cool to see it happen. Yeah,
it totally is. I mean, it's crazy. Every dog's got their own little personalities, right? They some of them are, you know, they're just fall to the wall. Then there's others that are a little bit more nervous about things, and you just got to work with each dog's ability and put them in situations that are as positive as possible.
And little man, I don't even know if he cares. Sometimes he's like, "Where's the treat?"
Yeah, he's pretty
much around me. Like laser tunnel vision, laser focused on when's that treat going to be Papa Dad. Look at him.
Yeah,
that's all you want.
And you don't always find that with the Chihuahua. You know what I mean? You got a diamond in the rough Chihuahua there because they don't always have that good of tunnel vision, that good of focus. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Our little guy's pretty good, but he's not that intense. I wish he had a little more focus. We're gonna see how he does once we get him in the show, but I don't want to force him into a show. Obviously, I got to get him out there in front of just a small crowd as pre-show, I like to call it. That's their opportunity to kind of give me it's like their tryout. Let's see how they do with an audience around them, with people around them, with the music on the speakers. You know, like how I'll typically acclimate it is like if I go into a new theater, I go into a new space, I'll have them come out in that space with no music, no lights, or just normal lighting or whatever. And then I'll add things in, you know what I mean? Add the sound in, but add it really low and then bring it up a little higher until it gets to the point where it would be as loud as it would be in a show. And then we'll go hog wild with the lights and see how they do. And if nothing's phasing them, then they're good to go. But you got to take those steps first. You don't want to just take a chance that my dog's going to not be spooked about this thing. And that's why we always do rehearsal when we go into theaters and theme parks.
Yep.
Because even though they performed in front of a live crowd before in different venues, this venue is a totally separate venue. There could be something there that could spook, some dark area or some different person that they've never been around. So you got to plan for that and prepare for it.
Yeah, I remember we were doing your stage show. It was maybe the second or third year, and we put some intelligent lights, some moving lights down on the corners, which aesthetically looked great and really added to that lighting effect. But I want to say it was sonic. I remember the first time we actually went into an actual rehearsal and those things started moving or whatever. She was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Not for me, sir. I don't know what that is." I think we ended up moving them and taking them off actually. Yep, exactly. And you have to do those. You have to do that sometimes. You gotta do what's best for your dog and figure out, what they're gonna be comfortable with. And the more you do, the more shows you do, the more things they're around and then they see and notice. Obviously, the more rock solid they're going to be. Absolutely. Yep. So, well, thank you guys so much for sending in the video and doing the live performance of Little Man. It was super cool to see today. And I'd like to thank everybody for joining us at Coffee Dogs and Curiosities. Once again, we are live in 4 locations: Stunt Dog Show Productions, our Stunt Dog Academy page, which is our home facility. We do dock diving, and we're going to be doing some Frisbee classes and throwing classes here in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned on that if you're local. We're also live on our YouTube channel, Stunt Dog Show Productions, where we're posting training tips and much more. So highlight videos of our shows and lots of cool stuff. So make sure you sign up, be a fan, and share it. Let your friends know about us. We're going to have another podcast. Obviously, we do 2 a week. We got one coming up here this Sunday. We'll be discussing, do you brush your dog's teeth or do you floss them? So we're going to talk about dental care a little bit and why and how it is important. I'd like to get my local vet to join us. I'm going to try and see if I can. If not, maybe I might get my sister-in-law in. She is a vet tech over there. So we'll see who we can get as a special guest. But that'll be Sunday at 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 o'clock Eastern. And then we'll be back with you guys next Thursday, same time, 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 Eastern. Now, I know we forgot to talk about this, but I'm curious, what's the status on the Indianapolis Zoo? Are you guys looking to do live shows soon? Any word, any announcements you can give us? I was going to pepper that in there at the last second. So tentatively, June 14th, the zoo is supposed to be open back up. So
Okay.
once we get up and going, we will perform Wednesdays through Mondays. We have Tuesday off, our dark day, to let the dogs sleep. And our shows will be 11:30, 1:30, and 3:30. Tentatively. But right now, that's what they're saying. I've been hinting at it for a couple weeks, but it seems pretty rock solid. So unless we have something crazy happen, that's the gist.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Right.
Hopefully, what's going on with the writing and stuff won't affect that date or anything.
All right. Well, I hope it happens, guys. I really do. I hope you guys are back performing soon, and we might have to adjust times as far as the podcast goes, so we can still get you on once a week. We'll talk about that. We'll make any announcements on our pages if we do change times or days. So stay tuned, guys. We'll look forward to seeing you on Coffee, Dogs, and Curiosities this Sunday, 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 o'clock Eastern. Thanks again, Brian Kara. Have a great rest of the day. See you guys.